So, today we are going to talk about reliving the past, when to talk about it, and when we need to stop talking about it, the benefits and danger of both. So, I think we all have things that come up from the past, whether this is things from childhood or difficult experiences we've had. I think sometimes we can get stuck in a rut where we are actually doing more harm than good by talking about things that have happened in the past. Hi, my name is Rochelle Walsh, and I am a complex trauma therapist. I've been a therapist for 25 plus years with a lot of advanced training in EMDR and dissociation, and I now have a coaching program for women. So I have a lot of experience in this area, and it's something I really feel passionate about. So let's talk about first when it benefits us to revisit something from the past that we may not have moved on from. Many times in things that have happened, whether or not it was early programming, early childhood experiences where we just simply didn't get something we needed, or where something hard happened, or maybe we've been through a trauma in adult life or a chronic stress situation, we've never really had that pain acknowledged. We haven't had an empathic witness to the pain. So a lot of times, when things happen early in life, and again, it may be just something that was always present. It may not be one event, but it may be just the lack of emotional regulation with a parent or abandonment. And that trauma just gets held in the body because there was no way to really resolve it at the time. And so the trauma, along with the beliefs, the body sensations, and the emotion is all wired in there and held in the body. And that sets us up to have chronic stress and chronic emotional dysregulation. So when that's the case, we call something that was ongoing or too much at one time or went on and on again complex trauma, not just like one single car accident or one single event in our life that was hard. But complex trauma is more ingrained into the nervous system responses, and it's different to treat. It's not untreatable. Anybody can change. We get a new set of neurons every day. Everyone is possible to change. And I'm going to explain to you why I think this is so important to understand. So a lot of times people have gone on, they've suppressed the trauma, they've decided, I want a different life. They work really hard, do all the things. They get stuck in performance or pleasing mode, and they kind of live in a state of hypervigilance. And then things come up and all of a sudden they have a panic attack, or they've got autoimmunity, and they realize that there's something in the past that even though they've moved on and created a lot of positive change in their life, and even though they're no longer in danger, their nervous system is stuck in the on position. There are some times where it is really helpful to give voice to what couldn't be spoken and have a different experience, right? We have an empathic witness to our pain, that we weren't alone in it. And people do initially sometimes can feel a lot of relief from this, and it can be very healing. What I have come to learn over the years in trauma therapy is that, however, that doesn't necessarily change it. What's really important is that, most of the things people are living from, they've survived, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't still be living. So they've already made it through. People I work with, they've made different choices, gone a different direction, they survived. But what's really stuck is that imprint of trauma, the imprint of the nervous system dysregulation, where they just don't feel safe in their body, or they're always on, or they're always stuck thinking they should have done more, or how do they please someone, or maybe have a tendency to go into numbing out, or to be addicted to the dopamine rush that they get when they achieve something. And so they have some behaviors they don't like, and they have an imprint from that nervous system trauma. In that case, if they go to therapy and they want help, or they read a self-help book and it takes them back to difficult experience or how they were raised, and then those same thoughts come back, the same emotions fire, and essentially the person is reliving the trauma. And the reason they're reliving it is because it's not time stamped in the brain. And so when they go back to that trauma, they have the same overwhelming emotions, the same body sensations, the same reactions to push it away or avoid it, and nothing really changes. And when this is the case, talking about it and revisiting previous trauma without having a nervous system change really keeps people stuck for years. And then they go to another therapist and they say, tell me about Tell me about your past. Tell me about how you were raised. And they do so because they know that that's important for them understanding, how they're going to inform care. It's not that it's a bad question to ask, but if we keep going back to that without changing a nervous system response. So I am a huge believer that when we change the current nervous system reaction, essentially we are released from the past. That past nervous system response pattern is no longer alive in us, no longer controlling us. We're no longer tied to the past, but we are free to be who we want to be in the present, right? We can respond to our current safety, our current opportunities. We can respond to stressors as they come rather than just living in this hypervigilant state. So if you don't have things that you are doing, if you are talking about the past, but you don't have things you're doing on a very daily basis to change that nervous system regulation, and you go back into a past memory, or you start having, and again, those past memories, it might not be a historical memory like he did this and then she did this and then I did this. It might be a nervous system response pattern, and implicitly held. So instead of the explicit memory, implicitly held of, I'm not good enough, or I'm not in control, or it's not okay to relax, or I have to be on all the time, or just this sense of dread in my system, or just where I know that my cortisol levels are high, my blood pressure's high, my nervous system is in overdrive, I have inflammation in my body, maybe I'm seeing signs of autoimmunity. That is your nervous system reliving trauma, even if you're not having the historical memory of the actual event. So this is where, changing in the present allows us to determine where we want to go in the future. Otherwise, our memory, we wake up every day and our brain is anchored to our memory and past experiences to figure out how am I going to greet the day and what's my filter for the world. So if we want to really change that, we have to release those anchors from the past, not by being stuck in avoidance and never talking about it, but by actually being able to lean into it and have a new reaction, a new response pattern. And that new nervous response patterns, the new thoughts, beliefs, and reactions are ones that fit with our future self, like who we want to be. We don't get to the future by continuing to relive the past. So it's really important to understand that if you're talking a lot about things that have happened in the past without some mechanism for changing that nervous system response, you're going to be suffering for longer than you need to be. But we do get a new set of neurons every day. God is faithful with that, and we can renew our mind, but we really need to work through the body and through the nervous system rather than going to the thoughts and the memories and the repeat of what's been there in the past. So I hope this is helpful. I do have a 90-day transformation program for women who are rewiring their nervous systems, and it's called Joyful and Present, and it's for women going from overwhelmed to calm and confident in their emotions in 90 days, and the results are fabulous, and it's all about moving forward. If you want to understand more about the brain and overwhelm and how I treat that in that program, as well as just really understanding the science about the brain and the nervous system, there's a link below to my free masterclass. If you enjoy these videos and are interested in emotional health and freedom and just being the biggest version of yourself, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next training.